Late Night with Markimus, number 1. Well, I do love myself some mystery. There's something about the aura surrounding great mysteries that keep alive intrigue, deep debates, and there's something about the high stakes and the fears played out with no safety net that somehow gives us our own confidence about our own personal mysteries. And even more so than mysteries, comedy is something I find myself craving daily. I can't get enough of my favorite weekly comedy shows and podcasts, favorite comedy films, and comedy music, stuff that doesn't take anything too seriously, so as to give us a sense of reality within the same safety net that we didn't want at all for our good mysteries. But many comedians can't stand to be misunderstood in pursuit of comedic goals. The mystery somehow blocks the communication of delivering that beautifully crafted joke, the well-executed comedic timings, all for the gut-wrenching laughs that leave us busting out loud, something that caught us off guard. Also, a great trait of mysteries, catching us off guard, as well as most all well-acclaimed art in history. And the too long didn't read of that is, we all love good art. But what if they don't get the art on the onset? What if people take the art too seriously? This is something that has been plaguing me, leaving me questioning whether or not my art tastes are too odd, and as I don't see as much of it out there, and maybe perhaps the question plaguing me the most right now is the comedy in my own content missing the mark? Am I, Markimus, missing the comedy mark? Should I hang it up and getting just two completely overkill hype beast drone shots telling ironic stories about how bad Billie Eilish fans are with their own darn Crosleys? Of course, all of that was a joke. Poking holes at snobbery, being over the top for no reason other than just to be over the top because I love meta commentary. Well, it's nonsensical and goofily intentional about, dumb music stereotypes that many people inflict onto other fellow members of the music communities. And man, I'm just like, should I even try to make a point about the negative impacts of this elitist stuff or just leave it at that? I mean, don't people put a lot of well-earned meaning into their perfect 10 out of 10 art gods and goddesses on these Greek pedestals, and so much so as to erect things such as PVC plastic discs on their walls and then put those discs on heavy, very heavy, massive, large concocted spinning plates? Don't they? Or their vinyl siding, as my brother famously threatens to put my beautiful records onto every time another record shows up at the house. Wouldn't you agree? There is nearly zero ironic humor or self-aware, like, wow, we are actually kind of like putting a bit much into this, don't you think? In the vinyl snob sides of the community, in the vinyl or just music communities in general. And at the risk of highlighting this negative trait without highlighting other positive ones that we love, that make this community worth being in, yeah, in fact, many, as you will find on the internet, double down on this consumerism, the quote-unquote the best, the stuff that they already like, that they're doubling down on versus what's maybe happening in the world, in the vinyl world, the music world around us. Maybe even missing the whole reason we love following and participating in music. I hope you hear the honest passion in my voice. And that's the whole reason I started, this community. Just to really be a part of something bigger than the music world that I knew. I didn't start collecting vinyl until 2016. My whole music world was my electric guitar, music stores, and my MP3s until 2011. Even despite my ears being flooded with decent music, great music, and bad music, from being a kid, it still makes me feel nostalgic to this very day. And just remembering the exact places that I was when I heard things. You guys know the same feeling too. Remembering the hard times, and most importantly, the good times. But the hard times too most definitely made me appreciate how beautiful any music played in a time of need can mean. Of course, I picked the AC unit to sit in front of doing this video. Shout out to the Gizheads community. It's been just like a close-knit community to me in times like this where I feel isolated from communities. So many great communities. And shout out your favorite communities with me if you have experienced them. Well, which the community, all communities, the music community, any community, it is what it is. And I know when I talk to the lovely and generous with their time record store in 2023, you may recall that video, Atmosphere Collectibles. They said they are so sick and tired of Reddit and dealing with people analyzing, quote unquote, the best pressing, or just putting down the idea that, other people can't collect anything less than the greatest forms of the art, and for many, many reasons, or even just putting down record stores for pandering to people who don't even necessarily have a lot of care for the physical medium of music. All arguments which, in a vacuum, make sense. Behind a keyboard, makes sense. And I was taken back by a lot of things that the record store employees had to say. It was so enlightening to me to really hear the depth of knowledge from being in the community their whole lives. A lot of stuff I didn't know. It's a special interview for me. But specifically, the moments that stood out was that Jerome and Ashley of Atmosphere Collectibles in Evansville, Indiana, they don't care about variant hunting that much. It's kind of funny given that we just made a video with them, 15 minutes long, showing off about 5 different records each that we had duplicates of. And, there's so many ironies in the community we just have to poke fun at, because a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. It's from the heart, and we just do it because we love it. We don't really think about it. And in retrospect, we may look back and have different feelings on it in the future. That's part of the art, isn't it? Good or bad. So here I am questioning if I'm chasing the wrong thing. I'm sitting there in the record store with them in their store, and they're talking about how much they hate vinyl record hunting and how dumb it ends up being and how many people hold it over people's heads and how crazy and toxic it could be. As they're a record store just trying to reach out to the community and do what they love from the heart, which I really loved and appreciated. Well, here I am questioning if I'm doing the wrong thing. Vinyl hunting, something people who've been doing this for years saying it's adding to the toxicity and noise rather than building up the love in the community. What am I doing? Is that a lizard? I mean, if you look at my first videos, it's literally just me documenting my experience hunting down vinyl variants. That's why I started this stuff. Doing just that. And after pouring my heart into seeking and finding my favorite albums, the coolest and most fantastic sounding vinyl releases, little did I realize, what they meant to me was special because I put my heart into it, but many other people in the community may not. Maybe they do it for different reasons, and maybe they enjoy that banter behind, the keyboard and the warriors looking to pick fights about quote-unquote definitives and whatever made, their personal collection behind the keyboard stand out to them. Whatever they do is valid. I mean, that's just why they do it. They do it for their reasons. I do it for mine. But, That's funny, too. I forgot Atmosphere Collectibles literally said in the video, back in my day, we just listened to records. That's it. That's part of the reason the vinyl community is so cool. It's just so full of OGs, historians, boomers who actually engage with the releases, decades-old classic stuff that, Gen Z and millennials, we don't really have any point of reference to. We weren't there. These people actually engage with it, in the time of their release. And these are people who really care about the art form, and they want to connect, to the extent of owning walls of vibrating PVC discs, constantly increasing, constantly going to shows where they're increasing the show prices, even to this day with their well-earned funds, and even giving new music a chance. Some of them give it a shot, whether or not they even are exactly thrilled with the way things are going, especially in the mainstream propagated 2020s current music scene we find ourselves in. And the good news is, guys, I want to believe we can find community here, and we have in some ways. The debates that exist are rooted from a place of caring deeply about something, which is just what makes even the misunderstandings smoothed over. Because look, we're going to have fun experiences with this stuff because we love it, okay? That's what I'm here to do. Real story is that I just don't relate to consumerists. And that's the story I want to tell. I just don't relate to being a consumer in that timeline. I do stuff not really to consume, but more to create and participate, I guess, is maybe the best way to put it, instead of absorb. I am a consumerist myself in some ways, and that's the part of me that I feel like I'm fighting the most off, overspending, over-contemplating, consuming too much, and maybe not being as present or participating, maybe not being as active in the ways I should be. Something I'm working on. We all won't experience the same exact set of art and come out the exact same. And it doesn't work that way. I say this repetitively around here because it's true. Your way of experiencing music is valid. And don't let anybody quash you because of your tastes and your passionate pursuits and your grooves. That's the music debate to end all debates. And that was a quote from Chris Nolan. I need to find the exact quote. He basically says that he only seeks out stories to tell that have life or death consequences or truly drastic implications because their stories worth telling. And I guess that's it. It's just that, the same misunderstood comedy, absurdist humor creatives, that constantly poke fun at everything, even at the art form itself, like Tim Heidecker, or just people who I really look up to, man, that have inspired me to make this channel. Anthony Fantano, of course, in the music community, and many of the OGs. It's that part of it. It hits better when we're actually engaging with it. It hits when I'm sitting down, when I'm driving, when I make a memory out of it. And maybe this is just a way to make a memory of it, making this kind of stuff. That's my point. I want to make a memory of it. I don't really care about the best or the coolest or the most definitive. Everything's special in its own unique way. Your groove is valid. And man, I've just learned so much being a part of the music community and loved it. Loved participating in it. We're going to keep doing it. We're not backing down from that. Are you kidding me? We're just getting started. So yeah. This has been fun. We're going to do some more of these because this is really therapeutic. Please feel free to lay down all your therapeutic thoughts down below as well. All right, it's getting late. We'll see you next time while we discuss sustainable resources and managing disposable income or something like that. Keep on grooving your way.